What's good, YouTube? Mario Devon, your YouTube uncle, back for another video. So today we're going to talk about editing again. I know I get a lot of comments, especially on my podcast editing videos, and I want to make sure I'm doing better this year, teaching you different tricks, whether it be photo editing, video editing, getting faster and getting better at it. So today I want to show you how to get that editorial look using Lightroom Classic. Most of you know, historically, we have leaned on Photoshop to get that editorial look, but I know because of the new generation coming up, y'all don't like Photoshop. Y'all don't really dig it, and you really lean on Lightroom. So I'm trying to create, an approach that is going to allow you to stay in Lightroom, but still get the results that will, almost come close to what you can get in Photoshop when you're doing your photo editing. And when I say that, that doesn't apply to like the graphic design type of editing, the creating things out of thin air, the 3D rendering, none of that. We're just talking about simple photo editing, specifically editing people. So here's the photo we're working with today. My girlfriend was like, hey buddy, I want a new photo today and you're gonna listen to me. So pretty much we used my studio. So for this photo, I actually used a 61 megapixel A7CR, very new camera, review coming soon. I'm gonna use the Sony 35mm G Master 1.4. So when editing this photo, it is going to be black and white editorial vibe. So it's gonna be some things I'm gonna do. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my lens correction, my lens profile. So boom, you can see that Sony 35mm G Master. I'm not sure of how you all go about making those black and white photos in Lightroom. I know how I do it in Photoshop. It's a lot of dodging, burning. It's a step, but we're gonna get that same look just simply by taking that saturation and throwing it down. From there, now we're going to go and we're going to use Lightroom the way it's designed. The way it's designed is literally up and down. We're going to start at the top. We're going to work our way down. So I plan on this being a little bit of a punchy photo because I want it to be dramatic, but at the same time soft. I know that sounds crazy, but let's go. So I'm going to increase my exposure. I'm going to bring that contrast up. All right, boom, about right there. I'm going to lower my highlights. I'm gonna bring up my shadows just a little bit, okay? I'm also gonna bring those whites down. I often see when I adjust the whites, it really does kind of soften the skin a little bit, gives it a better glow. So I always do that. I'm gonna leave the blacks where they are. It sounds so crazy. I'm black. I think the key to every photo is going to be the tone curve. The tone curve to me brings every photo to life. I think that's where the bread and butter is. So I'm gonna make those adjustments. I always, bring those shadows over a little bit, and then I go to that mid-tone shadow and I bring it up. Boom. You can see these highlights going crazy right now. So I'm gonna bring those mid-tones down. We're creating that S-curve. And then I'm gonna bring the highlights at the end down. This right here, this is the sweet spot. Watch this. I want you to look at the adjustment. Do you see the skin changing as I'm moving this up and down? The skin is changing. So I like that. I want that to be about right there. So let's do that tone curve before, after. You see that? The tone curve completely changed the mood and vibe of the photo. So there you go. I always recommend that you all really spend time on understanding how to make that tone curve work for your photos. So now my photo is a little bit darker, so I'm going to bring that exposure up some. Boom, about right there. Let's see that before, after. It's already, doing its thing. So I'm going to go back up because crazy thing is when you're doing monochromatic photos, blue in the photo is actually going to make it darker. But if you increase that warmth, it actually brightens that photo up. So I'm going to put it about right there. So I love that look. On my HSL sliders, gonna go right past it, don't need it. My color grading, we can go past it. I promise you in another video, we're gonna talk about, how to make those things work. In my detail, no sharpening, but I'm going to increase that luminance a little bit, about 50%. I said a little bit, but 50%, 55% is really a little bit when you're talking about, the noise cancellation. Oh my God, I said noise cancellation, noise reduction. This is not AirPods, Mario. So I'm gonna increase that detail. Okay, so I think we're making good progress. I'm gonna bring those highlights down just a little bit more. That's the look I want. Okay, that is coming together. So that is before, after. So very key thing we need to do, and that's going to have everything to do with the skin and really making the photo pop some more. We have to do three things here. We have to do the skin retouch, we have to do the dodging, and we have to do the burning. Can you do that in Lightroom Classic? Let me show you. So we're gonna add a mask. Boom. We're gonna use a brush. I'm gonna bring this over so I can actually zoom in on the face. The first thing we're gonna do is going to be the skin retouch. The way you go about that, you find your brush, and all you have to do is make sure that you brush over the parts of the skin that don't go over the lips, Don't go over the eyes. Don't go on the nostrils and things like that, the eyebrows. So you want to skip over those things. So we're gonna work our way around the face. Boom, boom, boom. So once we've worked our way around the face, created a mask around the face, we're gonna go ahead and scroll down. Gonna go to effects. We're gonna play with the texture and the clarity to actually get a softer look in the skin. So as I take this texture, we're gonna bring it down. I always play within that 40 to 60 range. So we're gonna go down to about 60 here. You can already see that we've lowered that texture in the skin. That's before, that's after, before and after. Next step is to actually push that clarity. Clarity, you don't wanna go all the way down because I'm gonna show you what it looks like. You push all the way down, you don't have the same person. So gonna bring clarity about right here. Because this photo is very stylized, you can actually push this clarity a little bit more than you typically would with a photo, but with this one it's very stylized. It's got that kind of look, so it fits perfectly. So that's before, that's after, before, and that's after. Again, I get it, technically this may not be what you want to see because this is obviously not how we do in Photoshop, but in Lightroom, trust me, it gets away because I'm gonna zoom out. There you go, before, after, before, after. So it has that that look, that editorial skin look. I'm actually gonna bring that clarity down a little bit more. I don't want to look like a complete rubber doll. All right, so there you go. Gonna bring that texture down a little bit. I always tell people, play with this until you get the look that you want, and I think that works for me. That's perfect. So gonna name this quick retouch because it is a quick retouch, trust me. From there we can play around making sure we're retouching the the chest and neck if we want to. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit those a little bit. You got the hands, we're gonna go ahead and hit those a little bit. The next step is going to be the dodging. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna grab that brush, we're gonna zoom in, and we're gonna find the highlights in the face, the highlights in the skin. That is what we're going to hit next. So the first place I always hit is going to be that forehead area, and I work down the face. So I'm here, I'm gonna probably add, boom, a little bit of highlight here. From there, I'm looking on this cheekbone, I'm gonna add it here. I also love to go around the chin, like they're just right under that chin, just to add a little bit more shape. Sometimes you have some highlights under the eyes that you can hit. It's just various places. Just look for them and you'll find them. Okay. So when you have made your selections in that mask on those highlights so you can get your dodging, now we're going to go to the highlights because that is all it is you're increasing the highlights in very specific places. Obviously, there's some more stylized, cleaner ways to do it in Photoshop. But again, this is how we would go about it in Lightroom very quickly. So I'm going to increase those highlights. You'll see I can actually decrease those highlights. It looks crazy, but when I increase those highlights, you'll see, where it is. It's a very subtle increase, and boom, about at 11 is going to be where I'm going to be. Actually, I'm going to bring it down a little bit more, around 10. And I like the way that looks. So now I'm going to just name this Dodge. I'm going to create another mask. Bring in that brush, and now we're going to burn. So with burning, you understand that you have to find those shadows in the face, in those areas of the photo, and just make them pop a little bit more just by going ahead and enhancing them using that burn tool. But in this case, it's not Photoshop, so it's not the burn tool. We're just gonna make a burn tool. So I'm gonna create an outline here on that chin, again creating shape. Always like to go with the cheekbone. So since we have dodged this, I like to add a little bit more boom at the top for the burning. So when you've made your selections on the face, now instead of doing the highlights up, we're gonna bring those shadows down. So you can see that adjustment here. So I'm not gonna bring it down a lot. Again, it needs to be subtle. Before, after, you can see that just a little bit more, it's not a lot, but it will work. So now I want you to see the before for all of them. So that's before, after. The other thing we have to do is, just want to do some little touch-ups here and there. So obviously, sometimes, we got to hit these right here. Boom, easy to do in Lightroom, of course, because all you have to do is just make that selection, but very easy to do. So when I bring it out, boom, this is the look that we have. And I think it works. So before, after. I'm gonna give you a quick other pointer here. If you want those eyes to pop, we're gonna bring it in, and I want to zoom all the way in here. So I'm gonna create another mask. I'm gonna create that mask around the eyes. There's also a tool in Photoshop where it can easily select the eyes for you, but I'm old school, so I like to do it myself. All right, you can actually bring those highlights up in the eyes. I like to make it punchier too. If you can, bring that exposure up a little bit, bring the shadows up, but you don't want to, go too crazy, but you just want the eyes to pop a little bit. Another thing you can do, if you want, since you already have that mask, you can up the clarity. All right, once you up the clarity, you make those eyes pop out a little bit more. So obviously it's a little bit crazy. You gotta look a little crazy. Let me go and adjust that a little bit. So I'm gonna bring those highlights down some, boom. And let me see before, after. Okay, so hold on. We're fixing it before, after. Okay, now think about it. Her eyes are actually very green, and there you go. So from afar, boom, before, after. So they pop just a little bit more out of the screen. So that's another way. Now, again, very stylized look, very, editorial look. So if I want to, I can go back to that quick retouch. I'm going to bring that clarity down a little bit more. That to me, that's a little bit better. So now to me, before, after, that's the full screen. Getting that editorial look using Lightroom, I think it works pretty well. People raved about it when I posted it on my Instagram page, so I guess it works. Again, I know this because I can do this myself. I can get a cleaner look using Photoshop. I know that, but a lot of times it takes, I'm gonna be honest with you, it takes an hour sometimes to get the specific look that I like to have in editorial when I'm using Photoshop. But a lot of times I just want to share some good work. I just want to share a good photo. And when I share this on my website, when I share this, on social media, no one tells the difference, at all. But I just love the composition. Very simple. We only use one light in a negative field. If you want to see how we got this photo, I can make a video on that too. So hit me in the comments below if you like the photo or if it sucks. Let me know. I'm open to your feedback. But the next video we're going to talk about how I edit my golden hour photos using Lightroom Classic, and I hope to see you all there. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. I love y'all.